Hello guys, welcome to this video feedback for session number 4. I hope you are doing all right at home, and in this video we're going to go over the answers for the worksheet, and also I will clarify some points along the way. Okay, let's go to our worksheet that you worked on 2 weeks ago. I think here we are. Okay, so this was the worksheet, and the first activity that you had to do was read the following sentences and then answer a question. Okay, the question was, what's the difference in meaning between these 3 sentences? Okay, the sentences were the following. Number 1, I couldn't walk to school. Number 2, I wasn't allowed to walk to school. And number 3, I didn't used to walk to school. Okay, those were the 3 sentences, and some of you gave really interesting answers. Okay, and thank you very much for doing this activity. Okay, so you were right. The first sentence was about if you could, like an ability, si podías hacerlo, and also it was kind of a rule, but in a more colloquial context, ¿ok? Entonces podía ser aquí que no podías hacerlo porque no podías o porque no tenías permiso para hacerlo en un contexto más coloquial. In number 2, I wasn't allowed to walk to school. It was a rule in a more formal context, ¿ok? Era una regla en un contexto más formal, ¿ya? Quizás el colegio no te dejaba, por reglamento, caminar hacia el establecimiento. And number 3 was a habit or a routine that you used to do in the past, or you didn't used to do in the past, but now you don't do anymore, or you don't do, ¿ok? Eso tenía que ver con una rutina del pasado que antes hacías o que no hacías y que ahora sí haces o no haces, ¿ok? So your answers were really great. Thank you very much. Let's move on to the second part of this worksheet that was about used to, ¿ok? In this part, you had 2 exercises to complete. Number 1 said, complete the sentences with the correct form of used to and the verbs in the box. Okay, so we needed to use a form of used to, positive or negative, and one of the verbs in the box. Okay, let's go over the answers. So for number 1, teachers used to write on blackboards. Okay, the key to answer this question was to know what is a blackboard. Okay, a blackboard es una pizarra de tiza. Okay, so knowing what a blackboard was, you could say that the teachers used to write. Okay, they used to write on these blackboards. Okay, number 2, students didn't used to play basketball. Okay, the key here was to know that basketball goes with play, and in the book we had not play. If we have not play, that means the sentence is negative, okay? So we use didn't used to play. And remember, with negative sentences, we don't add the D at the end of use, okay? Recuerden, con oraciones en negativo, no agregamos la D a la palabra use. Okay, let's move on. Number 3, school cafeterias didn't used to sell pizza, okay? So, cafeterias sell food. And we have sell, so that was the correct verb to use. But again, we had the not sell, we had the not. So that meant that we had to use the negative form of used to, didn't used to sell. Again, without the D. Number 4, some schools just want small classroom, okay? So classroom, schools have classrooms. And in the box, we just have the word have. So it was positive, therefore used to have just one small classroom. Okay, let's move on. Girls and boys always used to study different subjects. Okay, the key here was to know what a subject was, and a subject is una asignatura. Okay, and the only verb that went with asignatura was study. And again, study, we don't have the nots, so it's a positive statement, therefore used to study different subjects. And number 6, poor children didn't used to go to school. okay? So the last verb that was missing was not go. Again, not go, that means negative, therefore didn't use to go. And again, without the D, okay? Sin la D. Very nice. You did really great, okay? Let's move on to exercise 2, okay? In this exercise 2, you had to do 2 tasks, 2 things. First, you had to write the question, and second, you need to answer it with your own information, okay? Primero tenían que escribir la pregunta y segundo tenían que responder con yes I did o no I didn't, según lo que ustedes hayan vivido o lo que ustedes hayan hecho, okay? So, here I have the questions. I'm going to read them and we're going to see the big thing that you needed to realize in this exercise, okay? So, number 1, did you used to play video games? Number 2, did you used to have a favorite toy? Number 3, did you used to ride a bike? Number 4, did you used to watch cartoons? Number 5, did you used to eat a lot of candy? Okay? And the main thing to take away from this activity was, again, in questions, we do not add the D to use, okay? Aquí lo que más importante de este ejercicio era darse cuenta que, de nuevo, en preguntas, al use no se le agrega la D. Okay? Excellent. That was exercise number 2, and your answers were really great. Yes, I did. No, I didn't. In each one of these questions. Okay? Really great exercise, really great answers. Congratulations. Let's move on. In the next part, you had to work with communication, discussing rules. And in this activity, you had to listen and read to this conversation between 2 students, Rita and Miku, and complete this chart, okay? You had to write an X if they weren't allowed to do something, and a ticket if they were allowed to do the thing, okay? Aquí tenían que leer la conversación y tenían que poner una X aquí en la tablita si es que ellos no tenían permitido hacer alguna cosa, o un ticket si ellos se tenían permitido. Yes? Okay, let's go to the answers. So, have lunch school. The Brazilian student was allowed to have lunch school, okay? No tenía permiso para comer en el colegio. But the Japanese students, he had permission to do it, okay? We have it right here, okay? So we only go to school for 4 hours a day. I don't start until 12:40, so I can have my lunch at home, okay? So he can have his lunch at home, but we always have lunch school. That was the Japanese students, okay? Student. Then, stay after school. Again, the Brazilian student wasn't allowed to stay after school, but the Japanese student was, okay? That's right here, okay? So, what do you do after school? Miku, the Japanese student, I usually stay there for an after-school club, so she's allowed. Wow, we can't stay at school at the end of the day, okay? So Rita from Brazil is not allowed to stay at school after it finishes, okay? Next one, leave school at 14, okay? This means leaving it forever, okay? Se refiere a dejar el colegio y no seguir estudiando, okay? At 14, okay? So Brazilian students are allowed to leave school at 14 years old, but Japanese students are not. They are allowed to leave school at 15, okay? And that's right here. Rita, we can leave when we are 14, okay? And Miku says, we are allowed to leave when we are 15, okay? So Brazilians, yes. Japanese students, no. And finally, choose subjects at elementary school, okay? Básica, okay? In both cases, they were not allowed to choose their subjects, and that's right here. Could you choose the subjects you want to study at your elementary school? No, I couldn't. Could you? No, I couldn't either, okay? Most of you, if not all of you, did really great in this exercise, so again, congratulations. And finally, in the last part of the class, you had to ask and answer questions about family rules, okay? And we had 2 tenses. Teníamos 2 tiempos verbales, the present and the past, okay? Some of you had problems with this exercise, but I would say that even with those problems that some of you had, you did really, really well, okay? And special thanks and congratulations to the people that sent the audio, okay, the audio, okay, y felicitaciones y gracias particulares a las personas que sí mandaron el audio, okay. So again, thank you and congratulations to those who sent the audio, okay. So we're going to go over 2 things that I think are important to clarify for this exercise. Number 1, okay, we had 2 tenses, teníamos 2 tiempos verbales, present and past, okay. Si la pregunta empezaba en 1, por ejemplo, are you allowed to check your cell phone during meals? La respuesta también tiene que ir en el mismo tiempo verbal. Are you? Yes, I am, or no, I'm not, ¿ok? Algunos de ustedes empezaron a mezclar los tiempos verbales, ¿ok? Empezaban con presente, pero respondían en pasado. Por ejemplo, are you allowed? No, I wasn't, ¿ok? That's incorrect, ¿ok? Siempre tienen que mantener el mismo tiempo verbal que la pregunta que están haciendo. Entonces, si la pregunta empieza con are you allowed? La respuesta tiene que ser en presente. Yes, I am. No, I'm not. Si la pregunta comienza con were you allowed to, la respuesta va con past. Yes, I was. No, I wasn't. Okay? So, again, don't mix the tenses. No mezclen los tiempos verbales. Si la pregunta es en pasado, la respuesta también tiene que estar en pasado. Si la pregunta es en presente, la respuesta también tiene que ser en presente, ¿ok? Eso también se ocupa con can y could, ¿ok? Si ustedes hacen una pregunta con can I, la respuesta no puede ser yes you could, or no I couldn't. Tiene que ser con presente, de nuevo con can. Si la pregunta, de nuevo, está con could, la respuesta también tiene que ir con could, okay? And the second thing to discuss here was the pronunciation of some words, okay? Your pronunciation was really great. There weren't many mistakes, and we have only 2 words that I think are that we need to revise, basically. So the first word is the word allowed, okay? Again, this is for the final sound, allowed, okay? So the final sound is a D, and you have to pronounce it, okay? El sonido final de la palabra allowed es una D, un D sound, ¿ya? Y tienen que pronunciarlo, okay? Muchos de ustedes decían allow, no, allowed, and that means allowed, okay? Ahí uno puede entender que están refiriendo exactamente al permission, okay? Y the second word was the word used with the D, okay? La palabra used con la D al final, okay? Used. The final sound is a T sound. Used, okay? Used to. I used to walk in the park. I used to play video games. I used to ride in a bike, okay? So, la palabra used con la D al final, el último sonido es una T, used. And that's all the problems I saw with vocabulary and with pronunciation. And we have reached the end of the worksheet. So again, thank you very much to the people that sent the audios. Congratulations. And I encourage the other people who have not sent the audios to do so, okay? It's really important and it will benefit you and you only, okay? So thank you very much for watching this video, and I think I will see you again in the next Zoom class or in the next video, okay? So I hope you have a wonderful wonderful days. Take care, stay home, and see you when I see you again. Bye.